Hello. We're starting this episode out in a somber way because we should. Last week, here in America, or actually across the seas, we lost 3 individuals and 8 are suffering injuries. We just want to say thank you for your service. Thank you for your dedication, and thank you for making the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms, for us to be able to do what we do, even though this country right now is as screwed up as it can be. You still gave your lives. Thank you to Sergeant Kennedy Sanders, age 24, from Waycross, Georgia. Thank you to Breonna Moffett, age 23, from Savannah, Georgia. And thank you to Sergeant William Rivers, 46, of Carlton, Georgia. Your sacrifice will never be forgotten by us here at Community Pay It Forward and Footprints Forward. We ask everyone, add them in your thoughts, add them in your prayers. Their families are missing them dearly, but your country is very honored and proud of you. Thank you so much. One 1% of our population joins the military. Yet over 50% of suicides are carried out by our heroes. It is time to find a way to help those who served our country. I challenge you to join us on February 22nd for our 22-hour podcast, Community Mission to Serve Our Veterans. Tell your story, introduce your solutions, inform us about jobs, homes, or other opportunities to show your support to our veterans. Donate or sponsor. Use the QR code above and prove you're ready to make a difference. Make a commitment to the community mission to serve our veterans. Hey everybody, it's Monday afternoon, which means it's Footprints Forward time. Again, Sergeant William Rivers, Sergeant Kennedy Sanders, and Sergeant Breonna Moffett. Our love to you, our love to your family. Hey, Friday was a very interesting day to me. I got to go to an event. I was invited by a brand new friend, and I knew nothing about it. And I ended up going there, and what do you know? I ended up running into partners from the Community Pay It Forward program from all over the country. I ended up running into our wonderful, wonderful mission partner, Lori Landon, from the Landine Foundation. That was so cool because she walked up to me and she colored her hair, and we were kind of looking at each other, and she's like, I know this Shrek-looking guy from somewhere. This big, giant, dorky looking, where is he? And I looked at her and I'm like, I know you from somewhere, but there's something different about. And I said, Zach, and she goes, Zach Clayton, it's Lori. And I'm like going, oh my God, Lori Landine. That was so great. So meeting her from Florida, Mr. Will Black, great friend of the program, fantastic guy. We've got some amazing things that he's offered us for the 22-hour podcast, including a trip that you're not going to want to miss. It's a family of 4 trip. Stay tuned. We're going to make sure that we have everything ready to go, but it's going to be added into the silent auction with everything else that we've got going on. We ended up running into Kiim, who was on this show not long ago. Kiim introduced me to a couple other people who she was hanging out with, and Gene. I hadn't seen Gene forever from Prestige Photography, another one of our great partners. You hire Gene, you tell him, I found you through Community Pay It Forward, and a portion of the referral that he gives us gets turned into a donation for people like Lori Landine from the Landine Foundation. It's as simple as that. So it was great. We also ended up running into Chris Aaron, one of our partners from the first year of Footprints Forward. Chris told us about her problems when she got out of a relationship and all the difficulties she had. Chris was there, and I mean, she was another one turned around, and all of a sudden, there's this big hefty guy standing behind her, and she's like, oh, hey, I know you. And it was like, I know you. And it was just really cool. I also met our guest tonight. Our guest, we were talking to her. She was sitting in front of this thing talking about children. And I was like, I would like to know more about this. And she told me a little bit about it. And then I started talking to her about the 22-hour podcast. And she started to tell me her story. And I was like, wow, it works out. And then I ended up buying my wife some bath salts and other stuff that she's going to be talking to us a little bit about, because she has just started a program and she's using this as a way for her own healing. She's also invited one of her mentors on. Mr. Mac is going to be joining us as well, that we're going to get into a little bit about what he does. He's one of the people who put together this conference that I went to. So I'm excited to talk to both of them. And Kiim asked me to go on ahead and play something for her. So I'm going to do that right now. She gets to, and I love this, I've never been able to do this before, she gets to introduce herself. So here we go. If I press play, of course, it won't let me press play.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kiim Mosley. I'm an Army veteran and proud owner of Peaceful Presence Wellness. Today, I'm here to talk about my own experiences with suicidal ideations and how I overcame them with the help of suicide.
So again, I am very, very honored to welcome a brand new friend and a sponsor to a community mission to honor our veterans, Miss Kiim Mosley. Hi, Kiim. Oh, you're still freezing up a little bit, but we'll get you on here. And how you doing?
Hi, Zach. Good, and you?
I'm doing great. It is so nice to see you. You brought along a friend of yours, Mr. Mac McDaniel. How you doing, Mac? There you go.
There I go. I'm doing terrific. I'm very honored to be invited to this.
Well, Kim ended up telling us a little bit about, well, you were telling us a little bit about how you guys were working together. So, Kim, we're going to get started with you. You were in the Army, and it really shocked me when you told me when we talked earlier that you got out in 2012, you said?
Yes, a long time ago.
Yeah, I still don't believe that. Yeah, that means you got out of the Army when you were like 14, but so
Yeah, now people are gonna start to guess my age.
so what made you join the Army?
It was my only way out of the situation that I was in. It was either I go to the military or I get into an arranged marriage with the postman. Yeah.
Ah, well, yeah, that doesn't sound like it would be any fun. What was your job in the Army?
I was a 92 Sierra shower and clothing specialist and repairist. I created the shower systems and also I repaired the uniforms whenever necessary.
Okay. Was that something that you were interested in before you went in, or was it something that they offered you when you went to go enlist?
When I enlisted, I was 17 years old. It was my last year in high school, and it was literally the only option I had to get away from marrying this guy that, and don't get me wrong, he was a really, really good guy, a really good man, but it didn't make sense in my 17-year-old brain why he would want to marry a 17-year-old and he's almost 40. It didn't make sense to me at that time. So I decided the military was my only way to get away from everything.
You struggled with depression. What are some of the things that you were struggling with?
My depression evolved over the years into something awful, actually. My own personal hell, my own personal level of torment, if you would. And it took me years and years, almost damn near a decade, navigating through the healthcare system, trying to figure out what worked and what didn't work for me. And all that these, Western doctors could tell me is, oh, take some Depakote, take some Seroquel, oh, take some Oxy. Here's some morphine. Here, let's help you numb the pain, not fix it, not figure out what's causing the pain, not develop the communication skills that become severed when you try to ask for help and you're told no 1,000,001 times. When I got out the military, I was told 1,000,001 times, no, nothing's wrong with you. You're fine. No, 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 no. Finally, a doctor sat me down and was like, hey, you might have PTSD. You can't communicate with people correctly. You freak out when you're in, large spaces. I was agoraphobic. I hated it. I really did. And I utilized marijuana for many, many years as a way to numb myself, not realizing that it enhanced my dissociation from everything. I utilized marijuana as a crutch. And when I realized that that's what I was doing for so long, I actually decided, you know what? I want to get out of this rabbit hole that I've been just constantly falling in, just like Alice in Wonderland. When she goes down that little hole and she's stuck, oh man, she just keeps going and going and going. And she doesn't go anywhere else, but she just keeps falling and falling and falling. And finally, she gets down there. There was nobody at the other end. There was no rabbit. There was no nothing for me. There was just me having to deal with me, having to pick up the pieces that have fallen off of me along the way and put them back where they belong. My heart, was literally hanging outside of my body for so long. My emotions, everything was hanging outside of me because I was looking at my body as if it was someone else. I was looking at my experiences as if it was someone else. I didn't want to take ownership for the person that was actually going through those things. I was in complete denial for so long, and I didn't have anyone to guide me. And when I moved to Colorado in 2018, I came across psilocybin. And when I first took psilocybin, don't get me wrong, it was something brand new to me. My brain was literally popcorning everywhere. It wanted to be everywhere at once. And I couldn't make sense of what it was. Um, so I felt like I was kind of, you know, breaking through these barriers that I've never been able to break through before with marijuana. Like, yeah, marijuana is great to relax if you have anxiety. It's great for pain. Don't get me wrong. I've had cancer. I've battled cancer. I'm a survivor. Don't get me wrong. That's good for other uses. When it comes to PTSD, I am a strong believer that psilocybin helps with the system, excuse me, with the symptoms that come out of PTSD as a whole. Now, not only depression, but suicide ideations, anger, frustration. Um, so many veterans, take their own lives because they're told no. I was resilient. I did not give up. I kept saying, okay, if you're going to tell me no, someone's going to tell me yes. If this person's going to tell me yes, then guess what? I'm going to go with that person. I'm going to figure out what I have to do to heal myself because I'm tired of living in freaking hell. I'm tired of it. I absolutely got on my knees one day and I was like, God, please help me understand what's going on with me. I don't understand any of it, but I'll figure it out. I'll do my research. And so I did. And after my own journeys, battling depression, battling anger, battling, you know, suicide ideations. I've tried to take my life so many times I've lost count. I even tried to take my own life while I was in basic training because my drill sergeant had a hard on for me. And he's the reason why I was pushed out. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been out of the Army. I would have still been serving, most likely with my brothers and sisters to this day. But you know what? I'm glad that I'm not currently serving. And I salute all of my brothers and sisters that are still in, that have served, and that are going in currently. That's your choice. I respect it. More power to you. But that was not the path for me. And I'm glad I'm out. I'm glad that drill sergeant actually had a hard on for me. Actually, something positive came out of that. So I'm also writing a book about this, about my experiences. It's called The Trials and Tribulations of Kiim. I'm still here. Um, and basically, it talks about how I was born in poverty, how I was trafficked as a way to keep my family afloat, how I spent my youth taking care of babies when I was a baby of myself, um, and just basically how I was able to navigate through all the different years of my life, how I thought, um, how my influence, how the influences around me really really impeded on my own thought process of how things worked, of what love was, of who adults were. Adults definitely weren't my protectors. Every single one of them failed me. Every single adult failed me, whether they were in the foster system, whether they were within the police system, whether they were in the school system. Every single one of them were scared of my family. My family, um, my family was involved in a lot of things. Um, Things that to this day I still can't be 100% positive of. I can only tell you based on what I went through and what I can tell you for a fact was going on. Um, I was drugged throughout my whole entire childhood while I was being trafficked as a means to keep me um, keep me functional, for lack of better words. Um, and to this day, I suffer with going to sleep because I do not allow myself to go through what's called REM, rapid eye movement. I don't
Mhm.
allow myself to go through a deep sleep because I feel like if I allow my body to go into a deep sleep, then what ends up happening? I become vulnerable. We become vulnerable when we're in that state because that is the state where our conscious and our subconscious are active at the same time. And when that happens, we're able to process our thoughts, our feelings, the things that have went on throughout the day. And then we wake up and we're refreshed, right? No. I always wake up like, holy hell, I can't sleep enough. I can never sleep enough.
Yeah. Yet
Back in
you and I,
2020, I decided, oh,
yet
go ahead.
you and I talked about vulnerability yesterday, or I'm sorry, on Friday a little bit, and you and I were talking about that, and how, you know, being vulnerable is not always a bad thing, but for somebody who's went through personal hell, like, I mean, I didn't hear a quarter of what you're talking about here, and now I'm so glad that we brought you on to talk about this, because, you know, there was a lot of stuff there. My wife and I have tried to foster kids, and we've tried to bring in kids, and you know, we get a lot of the we've had a couple of the kids that have fallen through the system, that the system has beaten up, and so, you know, they come in and they think that we're just here to take from them, and it's a hard fact. That's but what are what are some of the things that from your past that you're using now to try to lift yourself back up with?
I've always loved writing. Uh, that's why I'm writing a book. Back in 2020, I actually decided to get the book rolling and help other people. Um, when I started taking care of babies at the age of 6, um, it really unlocked this deep passion to help others, to want to be the person that another person can depend on, that they can always come to for guidance and for anything, really. Um, and so I decided to continue writing, to continue talking about my story more, to sharing with people, um, actually comforting people in these times, because you don't really have an emotional support person nowadays. You don't. And as a trauma processing guide, that is what I provide. And I just, I love the fact that I was able um, to utilize psilocybin in my journey. Um, it actually helps to block the emotion that I would get every time I have to repeat my story over and over and over again. Or whenever, like I mentioned before, your brain starts to popcorn. When you start taking it, it popcorns because your brain is trying to make sense of what it needs to prioritize at that exact moment. So it's like a computer that's trying to like sift through files and figure out what's the best one you can use. Essentially the same thing in our brains. And when I realized that, I wanted to help other people too. I love to read. I like to disappear sometimes, you know, go into a good story and immerse myself into it. And I love watching doctor shows. The human anatomy has always amazed me. I love learning about the brain every single day.
Yeah.
Our past, our present, our future, how it's all connected, how our brains is just one big connect the dots kind of game.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay to think how you think because you have the resources readily available. And those are the resources that you have at that moment. It's okay to have thought the way you did back then, too, because that's what you had available until you are more optimistic and more open to wanting to have a different perspective. You'll be closed and you'll have your own set of beliefs.
So you've stated that trusting adults because the adults have always let you down. Someone like Mac comes into your life. What makes Mac different? What did Mac offer you that you were able to go, hey, there's an adult that's not full of shit? What was it about him that gave you that feel that made you allow him into your life?
So, first of all, I met Mac through Achieve business conference. We had met prior at a mixer, but then we actually shook hands at the Achieve Business Conference. I joined Achieve while I was homeless and living out of my car.
Mhm.
This was just last year. And I told them, I was like, hey, Rob and Vanessa, I've been studying you guys for over a year. I'm a people watcher. I do my research before I get involved with anything. I see all the growth that you've, provided to people within the community as a whole. And I want to see how I can, contribute and how I can build and make something out of myself because my back is up against the wall. I'm tired of living in hell. I'm tired of never having, to grow. I just have just enough to stay where I'm at. Please help me change my thought process because what I'm doing is not working for me. And then at the following conference, after they gave me scholarship and allowed me to join the program, thanks, Rob and Vanessa, by the way. Rob and Vanessa Raymond of uh, Achieve Systems. So at the following business conference, I had met Mac and I looked at how he interacted with people. I paid attention to his tone of voice. His dress threw me off. It definitely threw me off. As a model, I saw the hat, and then I saw the jeans, and then I saw the American Pride kind of thing going on, and I'm just like, huh. So, what kind of character do we have here?
Yeah,
So,
you got the big rings, you got the partial big beard going. Yeah, the what is that, Mac? Is that Marines? Yeah, the Marine chain.
Uh, Marine Corps emblem. Um, it The Marine Corps is tough in my family. My son, who just retired from the Corps a little over a year ago, is the fifth generation out of six that went into the Marine Corps. And as I've always joked, if you want to go to Thanksgiving, you better join the Marine Corps. Um Mom gave me the emblem. I literally wear it every day.
Yeah.
My mom's not with me anymore, but it's the first thing on in the morning, last thing off at night, and uh, I became a much better Marine after I got out. When you're young, you don't always understand what the tutelage is all about, but hopefully you get a little bit more mature and you actually understand it.
Mac, he's my cousin, but he's as close to me as my two brothers are. And he and I, he was one of those guys that was as as a kid, he was kind of screwy. He had the back then he was a pain in the ass. Now we would say he was probably ADHD or something like that, but back then he was just a pain in the ass. We didn't have a name for it back then. But he went to the Marines while I stayed here in the States and did nothing, and you could definitely tell that the two, you could tell the difference when he came out and how much more. So I think you're right there. He went in and he used it, as Kiim said, he used it to as an escape, and he used it to get away from things. But I think he really also found something from it. Was that something like what happened with you? Did you find yourself in enlistment?
Well, because of the family background, it was always about being a Marine. My 8th grade career paper was on being in the Marine. I went in shortly after high school. And there's a lot of rivalry between the different branches of the service. I had a gentleman that was the president of a chain of camera stores out of Arkansas, and we were all standing around. He was a colonel. He retired as a colonel out of the Air Force. And we were all talking, and he said, "Mac, why would you say something good about another branch of the service?" To this day, I don't know what I said. I said, "If you want me to be serious, between 18 and 22, we all made a similar decision."
Mm-hmm.
And then, being the smart ass that I am, I said, "Some of us made the right decision." But, I'm an American.
Yeah.
I understand anybody from any country being proud of their country. I am a proud man of our country, and I'm a student of it. And I believe that our veterans are very important. As children, we make a commitment that could mean our life.
Yep.
We have our rights and our freedoms because of what, for almost 250 years, military men and women, and more so now, ladies have gotten involved like Kiim than in the past. And we should thank a veteran every day. And you can take me out of the equation, but every other veteran needs to be honored.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We read off, I read off 3 names today. There's no war going on, yet they lost their lives.
Mm.
When Kiim, you joined the service, you handed them a piece of paper that said, "Here you go. There's my ass on a platter. Do with it as you will." And I mean, it could have been the end of everything, but you still rose your right hand and you gave that oath. And that's why I always say, I didn't join. I am not a veteran, but I am a proud patriot of you, what you've done, this country, what you guys have allowed us to be able to do, and I can't thank you both enough. Kiim, what does Mac mean to you? What has he brought to your life?
He's brought a lot of value as far as helping me understand the ins and outs of business as a whole, helping me to understand, how do I explain? Excuse me, helping me with holding myself accountable, making sure that I always have something on my calendar to talk to someone about, whether it be about one of my businesses, Revitalex, my organic skincare line, or the trauma processing aspect with Peaceful Presence Wellness, or anything cooking wise as far as my Rican empanadas go, or anything that I might be involved with, tutoring kids or holding seminars or doing more public speaking events. He has always empowered me to do those things and research those things. We're connected with Legal Shield. We're ambassadors for Achieve Systems, for more people to join the community of entrepreneurs and just spread positivity throughout everything we do. And we do it with a smile on our faces at all times. He'll literally tell me to pick up my face because I wear my emotions on my sleeve all the time. I'm very blunt, I'm very direct. But at the same time, there's a lot of information that I'm trying to give to people, and he notices the level of frustration I get when I get nervous. And he goes, take a deep breath, kid. It'll be all right. And I'm just like, you know what? It is. Because everything else is going to be all right, as it always has been. And so it will always be that way. Anything that you put your mind to, I strongly believe you will succeed in. You do the research, you put in the work, you're going to excel in whatever it is that you do. And I absolutely thank Mac for that, because he has pushed me, he has helped me, he has guided me, and he's wholehearted. That's like the most that I can say. Like, he's wholehearted. Like, he's no bullshit. Like, none. Like, and I love that. I love that the most about a mentor. And
and Mac, you said something about that earlier. You said before we started the show, you told her at one point in time. Please share that with us.
I told her when we went to a 2-day conference that only had about 40 people in it. It's called Achieve University, and it's all aspects of running a business. And for whatever reason, I was drawn to her, and that
she's got a light about her that's amazing. She really does.
And I'll tell you, to this day, I don't really understand. I don't normally let people in the door on a personal level that quickly. I mean, she's 40 years younger than me. And I kind of think that a lot of kids, as I call them, don't have a clue what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But we talked about personal things. I lost my wife 4 years ago, and we were talking about that. She approached me on would I guide her, and that no, we don't have a financial connection. We're in different areas, but I truly believe that she's sincere in her approach. She screws up once in a while, but she also doesn't. Well, and I call her on it, and but she doesn't run away, and that
I own that shit.
she listens to me, and I can see the wheels turning where she's thinking about what I'm saying, and she calls me and says, "No, that's not accurate," or she goes, "You're right. I got to do something different. I have to do something more." It's funny because there's several end of the day type things, and she says she was so busy and she was getting all this done. I said, "Well, what did you actually do? How were you productive? What did you accomplish?" And she's got the list. Sometimes I go, "Is this list ever going to end?" I want to go to bed, and that. But it's she's a unique person, and that I truly believe that people in general are already starting to recognize her as being a leader, somebody that has overcome challenges. I'm involved with a veterans group, primarily here in Colorado. It's a national group. Um, and we were at the state capitol on opening day, and Kim showed up. I introduced her to a couple that I had met at a political dinner, and the soon-to-be wife of the couple is the head of the Republicans' Women's Party. And a week later, Kim is doing a testimony without me being there in front of the state Congress on exactly what we're talking about here. That doesn't happen. I told her, I said, do you realize that you're standing in front of the state legislators? They're listening to you. Do you know how important that is?
Yeah.
And I think she realized it, but I think she's, even though it's only been a couple of weeks, I think she's realizing it more. She's now talking to you about it. She's getting her story out there. And that's the importance of the whole process.
You know, Kim, there are some people who sit there and they think what they do is talk to people. They think what they do is, but they don't tell everything. And they tend to, where it's a lot of times it's not on purpose, but they tend to hide some of the pain, and they don't let the pain go. And what they end up doing is they end up making a lot of it up, a lot of the story up to hide that pain. So they end up creating a life that's not even really a life. So what he just said about, you standing in front of legislators and doing that, that's amazing. That is amazing. One of the things that drew me to you so much this afternoon, and what made me think I want her for this show today, is because you said something to me. I had 2 days, and I prayed to God, please give me this opportunity, and I will prove myself. And right then and there, I just kind of, and Mac, just to let you know, I'm kind of one of those idiots that I just went, yep, all right, that's it. I want her to come on and tell her story, because there's something there. There's ambition, there's strength, there's pride, and there's a will to, all right, hold my beer, watch what I do now. Whether you drink or not, whatever, but it's one of those things in the biker world. It's hold my beer and watch this shit, and we let it go. We're going to see what happens. You've got that. And it's so impressive. And, you've also got this thing with you that I have this, I'm guilty of this thing that my mind, my shiny squirrel is always running around, bumping inside my head. I'm always coming up with different things, and people are always telling me, settle down, slow down a little bit. And I'm like, I can't, it's moving, so you've got that going on too. What are some of what keeps you going?
My faith, first and foremost, my faith. That's what I've always had. When everyone else has failed me, I've always had God. If it wasn't for me actually turning myself in and telling them that I choose foster care, that I would willingly go into the system to escape being trafficked, I would have never had the relationship that I do now with my uncle. Uncle Louis, hi, I love you. Thank you for being my rock in a hard place for the past 2 decades of my life. I am eternally grateful. He's always empowered me. He's always pushed me to do whatever it was that I was passionate about and build on it. And he always told me, you can either put in the work or you can stand there and you can watch other people working. And then you're going to look back and say, oh, that was my idea. Yeah, it was your idea, but you didn't put in the work. Got to put in the work. And that goes hand in hand with faith. Faith without works is dead. And my faith has always been strong. I converted when I was 15. I really, really was in a really bad place at that time, and I chose God. I chose to let go of, that level of not knowing, where I would be, where I would end up. I just always knew that God would have my back. And even if I didn't know, where I would end up or why I had to trust this person, God had something better planned for me. He always had a direction to put me in. And with the psilocybin and the trauma processing, that I became passionate about, I also broke into, during 2020, not only did I start helping people with trauma processing, but I started working on my skincare line and perfecting it. And when you said it took 48 hours to plan it together, I had 48 hours before the business conference to come up with not only the money to buy supplies, but I had to do the packaging, the labeling, and I had to do all the preparation myself because all of my batches are made by myself. They're all organic, made with lots and lots of love, but in really small batches because I never want to take away from the consistency of my product or its efficiency. My products work very, very fast. It's called Revitalux, and I use them on myself. I love how it feels, how smooth it goes on, how it can not mask. It's not masking anything. It's actually healing things. My rosacea, for instance, you can't even tell that I have any. Nope. And I don't have any concealer on right now. I just have lipstick and a little bit of eyeliner. That's it. And yeah, it took 2 days because after 2 weeks of trying to find investors and sponsors and trying to get people to believe in my product, I said, you know what, God? I'm going to get on my knees. We're going to figure this out together. I just need somebody who believes in me that is willing to give me the supply money I need. That's all I need. I just need supply money. I'll figure everything out. Just please, I need some supply money. Please, please, please. The next day, literally, I had a photo shoot scheduled because I still do modeling. So if anyone's interested, please send me a message. Kiim Mosley Modeling, or Kiim Mosley is my personal page. So I had a photo shoot, and I've been working with this one photographer, Dale, with Dale Self Photography, for the past 5 years. From the moment I started modeling in Colorado up until now, he's helped me in any way, shape, and form that he possibly can. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ask a quick favor. Hey, Dale. Can I get an advancement on that? I know we have a photo shoot on Sunday, but can I get an advancement? Because here's my product that I'm trying to push. And I sent him a picture. And I was like, but I need money for labels. I need money for jars. I need money for containers to put the lip balm in. I want to make a body scrub. I want to make a body butter. I want to make a detox bath mix. And I also want to make a lip balm. I want to help the world with all organic products that are good for the skin and good for the environment. Please, I just need you to take a chance on me. Can you please just give me an advancement so I can buy the supplies? He was like, okay, here you go. Boop. He was like, I cried. I literally, my eyes bulged out of my head. And then I started crying. I was so overwhelmed with joy. I was like, okay, now I can start buying supplies. So I started buying supplies on Amazon and everything. And then finally, when everything came in, that's when it sunk in. I was like, oh shit, this is actually happening. Yeah. Yes, I'm making stuff. I'm making my own products.
And you kicked the hell out of it. You really did. Mac, you had something?
I did. At 71, I try to see the humor in life. And we were at this conference we were talking about this weekend, and she comes up and she puts stuff on my arm. I go, what is that? She says, oh, it's going to feel good. And I was teasing her. She says, oh, I feel so special now. My arm feels silky and smooth. And that's not my personality.
Yeah,
But I'm proud of her. I really am.
well, like I said, it was just she told me that story, and you know, it's just the in which I'm not a religious person. I'm very spiritual. I have a spiritual side to me. Call it religion, call it whatever you want, but the connection that she has, and then the faith to go and talk to someone else and say, just give me a chance, and then not squander it, take it, and take that chance. And she, boom, there was product out. She had product everywhere. She had different types of product, and she was ready to go. It's kind of funny, Kim. You were talking about how you like having small batch because you like to keep consistency. I get in so much trouble because I'm still so used to cooking big batch stuff that we have leftovers for like 3 weeks after I'm done
Oh
cooking.
Lord.
It's like I go and I make green chili, and we've got green chili that's frozen for 6 months because we've got too much of it. So, that's really it's really unique how you do that. But what do you want? Oh, let me ask you this. This is a question that I've wanted to know. You've talked about THC and the benefits for pain and anxiety. What is the difference between THC and psilocybin? What are the differences in how they work?
So I'll say it in layman terms so everyone understands. So I don't get into these big words and confuse people. Consider weed as a downer and
Mhm.
consider psilocybin as an upper. You have something you can party with, and you have something that you can literally chill, relax, whatever. Marijuana
Oh,
also builds on your depression. It actually keeps you in that depressive state. In my opinion, it kept me in a very depressive state for a very long time. Like I literally, like I told you before, I couldn't pull my head out of my ass for the
yeah,
longest. For the absolute longest, I was stuck. I was the person that was in my own way, that was preventing myself from doing these things. I literally hung on to recipes for a good 3 years before I actually rolled out this skincare line within 48 hours.
mm,
Like overthinking. When I decided to take psilocybin actually removed the emotion from the whole entire equation as a whole. It didn't numb me, it removed the emotion, because sometimes people cannot deal with that level of intensity that they're feeling at that point in time. And marijuana does not allow you to, in my opinion, I can't say this for anyone else, marijuana did not allow me to be in my creative state, to identify my triggers, to help me, how do I say, to help me sift through my emotions on my own. It didn't, because it masked it. It put me deeper down a rabbit hole, and it did not allow me to find the level of clarity that I was seeking when I started smoking marijuana. Literally, the day that I had gotten out of the military, that was the first thing that approached me. Hey, smoke some weed. You'll feel better. Yeah, I do. Yeah. But then I can't work. I can't be functional. I can't talk to people. I can't make a plan, build a schedule for myself. I was literally going around in circles over
yeah.
and over and over again. And the psilocybin, it helps with addictions. It helps with sexual deviancies. It helps with suicidal ideations. It stopped me from wanting to take my life, because this whole time that people are saying, I want to die, I want to die, I want to kill myself. Do you really want to die? Do you really want to take your own life? Do you really want to stop what it is you're doing because of a situation or a person? I don't think so. And when I realized I just wanted to, again, dissociate and run away, like I did when I was a kid, I said, no, I'm not running away anymore. I'm going to fight this head on because I can. And I can do all things through Christ that gives me strength. And I know that with that and my uncle, I'm good. I'm winning. I can do anything. You got to put in the work.
Yeah.
You got to put in the effort. You got to do the research.
You got a good start this last Friday. You got a really good start at the conference that we were at. What's the next step for the skincare?
I'm looking for more investors, actually. Like I said before, I'm the worst at articulating things. I'm not very good at words, but I'm getting there. um, I'm looking for more sponsors and investors that are willing to help me further the production of my product line, to help me get this, all around the world in parts that it's inaccessible, because I believe that beauty should be luxurious. It should feel like you're in a spa, except you're in your bathtub, you're in your bathroom, you're literally at home, just exfoliating, and you feel like you're getting a full-on spa treatment with this exfoliant scrub. You feel like you're being lathered with this, this dreamy body butter that just meshes with your skin. Am I right, Mac? Well, that's cool. And it's not just for women, it's for men too. That's why I approach men the way I do. I say, hey, can I try something on you? Oh, what's that? Oh, that's a body butter. I don't want to be greasy. It's not gonna come on greasy. Can I just show you a little bit? Mac was hesitant, but the moment it went on, he was like, ooh, I'm silky and smooth. So we strive to deliver the message of inclusivity as well, because it's not just for women, it's for everyone who has a skincare routine or that doesn't, and is looking to find a skincare routine that actually sticks, whether or not you're someone that's young in your early 20s. And I explained that to someone recently at the conference. I told them, you don't have to spend 20, 30 years like most people do to find something that works for you. Try this. If it works, stick with it. Stick with it. Because if it works for your skin, it's going to be hard to find something else that's going to work even better,
Well, I know one place, a little bit of self-grandizing here, but I know one place where you can try to get a little bit of extra finances for your product, and that's with the Community Pay It Forward program. We love trying to help people in the startup world, for both of your peaceful presence, wellness, and your skincare. We can get you in as mission partners, and every time somebody turns in a sale to one of our partners, that can go to you to try to continue your program. So I know that I, like you, turned my motorcycle accident around to where, well, I was in a place where I was either going to sit around watching a lot of hockey highlights, eating a lot of Snickers bars, or I was going to start helping people. Eating a lot of Snickers bar, watching hockey highlights, but at least now I'm helping someone. So, it's useful. But so I know that we've got a lot of things that we're going to be talking about. You are, though, going to be joining us I believe it's the 6 o'clock hour, correct? On the 22nd?
On the 22nd. Correct.
Yep. So she's going to be a sponsor, and she's going to be back on February 22nd as a sponsor. So we are thrilled to death to have you there, and I cannot wait. I think that we've got a lot of things that we can work together and do. Would you like to say any last words, like tell people anything?
So right now, my website is under construction. However, if you message me directly, I can ship a goodie bag out to you. Just let me know, please. Like I said before, I make everything in small batches with a lot of love.
And we will get all the contact information, and it'll be available on Community Pay It Forward, Footprints Forward Just hover over Footprints Forward, and you're going to see all the information there. So, shh, I'm talking.
And if you ever need a trauma processing guide, let me be your guide, and I will be more than happy to help you on your wellness journey.
And we will definitely be talking about that. Mac, do you have anything that you want to send us home with?
Well, you have my contact information.
Yeah.
My passion business is the veterans group. If somebody has a business like Kiim, it doesn't have to be that type of thing. I've been self-employed business owner for almost 50 years, and I've recently turned it into a mentoring program, so to speak. I'm not really sure that I like the word mentor, because it makes me look like I'm a little foo-foo, but I want to help people in business avoid getting smacked upside the head with a 2x4 like I was over my 50 career. So please share my information accordingly. Yeah,
we will do that. Again, we will be talking very soon, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to have you on one or two of our other shows just to try to get some things in order. Hey, you know what? What I've learned from this conversation is, as we've always said, one thing does not fit everyone.
That's
okay.
Right.
And a slow start or a bad start to life doesn't need to mean a bad end to life. You can turn things around. You just got to put in the work. I love the way that you say that. Put in the work, get it going. If you've got an idea, run with that idea. An idea is only going to fail if you don't try. There's no reason why you can't get an idea to do wonderful, wonderful things. I, at one point in time, thought I was going to get into event planning. And then I realized I don't like people enough to be an event planner. So that's where Community Pay It Forward came from. It's
it can be stressful.
I'm able to use my personality to do this, and I don't have to worry about putting together a wedding. Been married 3 times, Mac, and none of my wives wanted me to have anything to do with the planning of the wedding. So let's put it that way. But hey, I want to thank both of you guys very, very much. I look forward to working with both of you a little bit further and talking to you guys. If you guys stick around through the end, I'd love to speak a little bit more for a couple more minutes. But hey, everybody, make sure that you help someone out there, because if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everybody. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together. This is a great big world, and we may disagree on certain things, but the one thing is for certain: we're all we got. Help someone else out there, because it doesn't take tons of money. It might just be a smile that can help somebody be uplifted enough to continue this day. All right. So that's all you've got to do. Make sure you love someone out there, because someone out here loves you. My name is Zach Clayton with Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. And we will see you next week right here on Footprints Forward. Thank you very much.